Hi, Dave here, talking about how the fates of Bitcoin and Tesla are now tied together and what that might mean for you if you're an investment in either of one of them. Now, I want to go right to a story here from Wall Street Wire News from our very own site. For better or worse, Tesla and Bitcoin are now attached at the hip. Elon Musk really can't help himself, can he? No, not when you are, for a time, the richest man in the world. The world itself is not enough. As the world was in flux with dealing with the global pandemic, the rogue CEO saw shares of his electric vehicle company explode more than 1,100%. But that wasn't enough for Musk. He announced that Tesla was purchasing $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, giving the company liquidity in the cryptocurrency once it starts accepting payments. Now, there could be a little bit of a problem here because now their fates are very much tied together. And as the article says, Bitcoin doesn't have much of an application as a form of currency, and that's a little bit risky. And we're already seeing that going on now, seeing some Bitcoin volatility. Of course, it popped above 50,000, and at time of recording, I believe it's at 47,000. And Wall Street doesn't really know what to make of this either. Here's analyst Dan Ives saying, with Tesla diving into the deep end of the pool on Bitcoin, Musk runs the risk that his sideshow can overshadow the fundamental electric vehicle vision in the near term for investors. And on the downside, it's playing with firecrackers and risks and volatility that are added to the Tesla story. Now, it's not just Tesla who's getting into the Bitcoin, dipping its toes into the Bitcoin pool, or in fact, diving into the Bitcoin pool. Also, MicroStrategy also put in $1 billion following suit from Tesla. Not quite as big of a dive, but certainly $1 billion in Bitcoin is no small change. And if you kind of look at the performance really of all three, and I've got this chart here on Yahoo Finance. Now, it's not a one-to-one, looking at Tesla in red, MicroStrategies in this light blue, and Bitcoin in purple. It's not one-to-one, but sure, they do seem to jump and dive at this exact same time. So these things are completely tied together now with putting so much investment in them. Well, and you might say, this is giving now institutional support for Bitcoin, and this could arguably lead to more price stability, and that sort of does make sense with all that cash being poured into Bitcoin, and with the two fates, with the fates of these companies now tied together, specifically Tesla and now MicroStrategy, and also in that the previous article, Square, I believe, invested some millions into Bitcoin, and other companies are also following suit. So I can understand the argument saying, well, Bitcoin's a good thing. It's a thing of the future. People are going to be buying into it. It's a great store of value, certainly better than the US dollar. And if enough people pour in, well, then this could help price stability of Bitcoin. And as Bitcoin appreciates, well, since these companies are so tied to them, well, then their future looks bright as well. But there is a danger, as there always in the markets. And this comes from Business Insider, something for all of you to pay attention to. It's the whales. There are around 1,000 individuals known as whales who own 40% of the market. Whales have the potential to manipulate currency valuations. Yeah, you think? And a little bit of a history lesson, if you go back to 2017, that big run up in Bitcoin when it hit just about $20,000, it was many news reports arguably that one single person drove that price to where it went. And then I would bet you the whales also loaded off. There's a report recently that there's some are saying that the recent dip in Bitcoin is because of one person offloading their shares. So what happens here? If you like Tesla, if you believe in them, or if you like Bitcoin and you believe in it, well, both are tied together. But what happens when the whales decide to sell? That could be absolutely devastating. Something to pay attention to, because look, if there's anything we learned, if any investor knows, the big guys almost always win. They buy and they sell long before you even know what's going on, and you could be left with an empty hand. Absolutely crazy, absolutely wild. And before we get out of here, I want to bring your attention to a bit of research I saw that you might be interested in. Why April 27th could set off a tech boom in stocks. Interesting bit of research there. If something might be interest to you, so I put a link down there below if you want to check that out. And I want to know what you think about the tying of Bitcoin, which many people don't even know what it's going to do, where it's going to go, if it's going to be real, even with billions of dollars being poured into it, this thing could just disappear and drop like a rock. I mean, what if a bunch of whales, there's 1,000 of them, which we definitely know Elon Musk is one of them, Tesla is one of them. What if a group of whales decide that, we don't like Elon Musk very much. He's a big target. He's outspoken. He has a lot of enemies. What if a group of whales, independently, of course, get together and they decide, well, we're going to offload our Bitcoin to kill Tesla? Certainly possible, isn't it? Same thing with MicroStrategy. They are all now at risk despite putting in all this money. It will not prevent any kind of volatility like that. We could see another Bitcoin crash anytime soon, as we saw what happened in 2017. And the big players always win, and the little guy almost always loses. So I want to know what you think about all of that. And again, check out that research if you're interested. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.